Hello, welcome to Soccer Yanks, a Soccer Newsday podcast. I'm your host, Dave.
And I am Dan, and we are going to bring you the beautiful game from the American perspective. And tonight marks, an episode where we can say we've gone a full Premier League season.
We made it.
13-14 is in the books. We've been podcasting this entire season. It's our first. I guess we could put our first official notch in the belt. Got this one. Got one in the books.
It was a rough one for some.
Yeah, for some. What did you think of the final weekend, Dave?
I really wanted both teams to lose in the big games. I was blown away by the coverage as an American. It was very exciting. But the games themselves, the City game. It was a championship kind of game. You expect that if they're going to win a championship to win that way. It was definitely there wasn't any nerves at all, and Liverpool just succumbed to the inevitable. It was kind of foregone. Their balloon was popped at the Chelsea game, I think.
Well, it wasn't.
It was starting to deflate.
It was starting to deflate. The Crystal Palace, I think, really was the we definitely blew it now.
Yeah.
As far as the final weekend goes, I know the numbers are really good from what NBC is reporting. However, I think it was a little subdued.
What do you mean?
Yeah, okay, there was two big matches. You know, if Manchester City did happen to slip up, there was a little bit of drama early on. Skrtel had an own goal, which would have been so fitting if that just stood up, because that just would have just solidified what I feel about the man. But so Liverpool was down, so then you're thinking, well, and City was still drawing, so I'm like, if City does slip up and and starts to lose, Liverpool had it in their hands, and now they have an own goal against them. So there was a potential for a lot of drama, but in the end, and I think this has been being said a lot now, is Manchester City did it with their football. They weren't. Their highs weren't very high, their lows weren't very low. They were very consistent. They didn't do a lot of talking. There wasn't a lot of gibbering. There wasn't a lot of drama. The guys all put their heads down and did what needed to be done. Yeah. It's Liverpool was like a Ferrari. They were flying high, so high. There was all this excitement about them, but then they ended up burning up their fuel before the end of the season. Arsenal was this the whole, the big storyline there was they don't deserve to be in first. They don't deserve to be in first, or not good enough to be in first, but they were for so long and defying some odds, and then the wheels came off that bus too. Then the anti-football. Everyone had a lot of storylines. The anti-football of Chelsea and Mourinho's craziness. Manchester City was Aguero's hurt again. That was about it. There was no real.
They were deep enough, and they were out of Europe early too.
I think that was the big thing. That was maybe their one big storyline. $1 billion team knocked out of Europe again.
I mean, I don't want to get too hypothetical at this point, but if you can consider City going deep enough, let's say to the semifinals,
could have affected the Premier League, definitely.
Especially with all the injury problems that they were having, and they were having to go to Milner, which they didn't think they would ever have to do at this point in the season, having Navas. And
although Milner did a great job.
Nobody expected it to happen, though.
Yes.
Just consider what could have happened had they tried to get that. What were they going for, the quadruple? They said in January?
They were up for the quad. Yeah. Yes, having already had the cock, the Capital One Cup in their back pocket. So they had the cock in their back pocket, and then what, man? It's COC. It's
I get it.
At that point, they were still in the FA Cup, and they lost to Wigan, and then they got kicked out of the Champions League by who was it again? Barcelona? Was it Barcelona?
That might.
Yeah.
That was during midterms, I think.
It was so long ago. I'm not even thinking about that far back on Champions League. I
don't follow City enough.
So the bottom of the usually a big fun part about the last day drama is the relegation battle.
It wasn't really.
It was all set. It was all said and done.
The real exciting, I don't know, probably don't have time in your busy work schedule. I just got out of school, luckily enough, so I've had a little lightness during the afternoons, and the championship playoffs have been going on. The QPR match against
They fought back in that one, right?
96th minute. Pretty nice. So it's going to be Burnley and Leicester already are locked in, and the championship playoff is against Derby QPR, 24th of May at the Wembley. Should be exciting. I don't know. I the way those two teams played in those two semifinal games,
the odds are really close. I took a peek this afternoon at what some of the bookies got them at. They got Derby at 7-5, and they got QPR at 9-5. That's 3.5.
Tight.
You know what I mean?
That's very tight.
That's 3.5 and 4.5. That's it's pretty close.
So we'll see. It should be definitely. I'm definitely DVR on that one. I think at least as far as intensity wise, I think that's going to be the most intense game we're going to be seeing that weekend. I don't think the Arsenal FA Cup game is going to be.
You got your weekends confused. Arsenal FA Cup is this Saturday.
What?
That same day as the Champions League final.
Oh no, we're going to the Red Bulls game that day. That's what I'm thinking.
So we might have to go to Mike's very early because there's the Championship playoff final.
Okay.
Then there is Champions League final, and then we go see Portland Red Bulls at RBA. I don't know if I could get my wife to stomach an entire 18 hours of soccer.
You know what we could do? We can go in early. Ferry Street, sangria, clams, soccer. Yeah, we'll make it work.
Well, yeah.
Well, just don't mention anything and make sure she just listens to the podcast before you say anything.
Yes. Did you hear the podcast this week, honey?
What do you think?
She's like, yeah. Arsenal is shit.
We have a new unsubscribe.
Actually, I want to take a step back. We glanced over the ratings, and I just found one little interesting tidbit. I mean, it's up. They're saying it's up like almost 200% the final day from the year before. From year to year, it's over double. It's 31.5 million viewers. But there's like a little asterisk. It says NBC included everyone who watched for at least 6 minutes in their final day calculation. And maybe they did that for all their viewers. Now, it's very possible that someone turned on E or Bravo and sat there for 6 minutes going, what the hell is this?
Yeah, but do people really expect to watch Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? That for that long? When they're on USA Network?
Yeah, good point. It's only on again.
It's
on
again.
at
10 in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, that was. I'm sorry. Finish your point.
No, this is my point. Is like, are they fudging the numbers? Are they fudging the numbers? 31.5 million people tuned into the Premier League over this season. Now, I guess when you divide that over 38 weeks, over 38 rounds, that's less than 1 million per week. So maybe that's feasible. That's very feasible. But, I mean, from just on average viewers is up 99% from Fox the year before. Is this the NBC factor? Is it really because it's on a real, it's like on a prime space?
And I'm curious, does that include the live stream coverage too?
It doesn't actually say. I don't know.
Because their coverage is heads and tails above it, not to mention their commentating. I'm sick of being force-fed Gus Johnson, Eric Winalda. I don't know about you, but they are commentating the Champions League finals.
You better get used to it. Oh, not going away, man.
Yeah, they just locked up the MLS deal.
Not going away.
God.
They got a World Cup coming, too. After this one. The next one is Fox. That's what Gus Johnson was brought on for. They needed to make their own man. Their own man. A man with his own unique voice. From the baseline!
It sounds like a lion tamer.
Another interesting thing I noticed that I want to talk about is the markets that are succeeding. If you had to guess, do you know the markets? Do you know which ones were like top ones?
You mean like versus East Coast, Midwest?
Like which cities?
I'm gonna say.
So you don't know exactly. All right. So that's what I want. I want you to guess.
Guess?
I want your guess. I know what they are.
All right. So I'll be the control in this experiment. No, wait. You.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You.
All right. So I'm definitely New York. I'm going to go with the LA area, the Cascadia region, Chicago, Columbus, and Orlando.
Okay. Not close. I mean, you're a little close. DC, number one.
No, I was going to say DC. And
DC, number one, followed by New York, which, okay, that makes sense. Then Baltimore, which I don't know. I thought Baltimore would be actually almost the DC submarket. I don't know.
Maryland NCAA, their soccer teams in that area are fantastic.
Yes, that is true.
Maryland.
Boston, which you did not mention.
Would not expect
Then you got a little Cascadia, Seattle. Now this is where it starts to get a little bit different. Richmond. Yep, Richmond, Virginia. San Fran, Oakland. Norfolk, Virginia. Providence, Rhode Island. Philly, then Chicago. Columbus doesn't even make that list, the top list. Or neither does Orlando. Neither does Miami. And these are supposedly going to be the new MLS cities. They should put a team in. They should put a team in Richmond, Virginia. They got one. I mean, I think there is a USL Pro team there at the Richmond Kickers or something like that.
I'll take your word for it.
But I just found that interesting. And DC leading the line. ATP, what's up? They got a couple guys in DC.
Yeah, no, that surprised me.
LA's not on here either.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're on the list somewhere, but they're not. They don't make note. They're not even They're not notable.
They have two teams.
Yeah, I know. Well, Chivas counts as half a team.
Yeah.
Although now that they've shed their ownership, it's going to be a different story.
True.
But I just thought there was a lot of interesting data floating out there.
I would have thought more Southwestern teams.
Yeah.
Demographically.
Yeah, demographic. I think the West Coast suffers with the Premier League because of the time.
That's you know what? That's right. I forgot. Yeah.
So
that was what my point was about the viewership as well, because I was reading online a lot of comments. And they were comparing it to the NFL viewership. It was like, oh, they're trying to compare it to NFL is 20 million, but to that point,
every weekend
it's
right?
set 1 to 10, and the schedule, it's everything's set so everybody across the country can see it at a semi-normal hour. East Coast is the only kind of normal hour to watch EPL live. Everywhere else you go, West is an hour back.
Yeah, the early
it's 7 in the morning.
The early
West
game
Coast.
is 7:45 here. The early game on the East Coast 7:45. On the West Coast, that's 4:45. That's unreal. That's unrealistic.
And on final Sunday day, it was 7.
And it's obvious why Honolulu is not on this list.
Clearly. But yeah, but I'd like to know what the live streaming and DVR, if they have DVR stats too.
I mean, let's just assume NBC is not really fudging. I mean, this is only boding well overall.
They doubled in 1 year. In their first year, they doubled.
You want to know the highest rated match? This one I did not believe.
The Cardiff Swansea.
Yeah, the Welsh Derby.
That was nuts.
That drew in 1.24 million viewers.
Do you think Vincent Tan just bought like a giant warehouse in Utah or Colorado and just hooked up a bunch of TVs and cable boxes to it?
Yeah,
just to get the record.
Yeah,
I get something while I'm here.
He's rigging the system.
Ratings as high as my waistline.
That's very. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but
I really wish we had headphones to check the sound levels on that, because I feel like I'm going to blow someone's car speakers out.
I think you may have just blown someone's eardrums out. But moving on.
I digress.
So, Champions League. So, what do we got left? We got FA Cup final this Saturday.
The championship playoff.
The championship playoff, which is
24th.
Final, which is 24th. Champions League final. And then 2 weeks after that, or 2.5 weeks after that, the World Cup.
That's my Brazilian jungle.
Just everyone in Brazil just shuddered. They were like, ugh, what was that?
I got the rhythm of a white man. That was my Volkswagen trying to go up the hill.
I read. Did I read or heard? I don't think I heard it. I don't talk to anybody, so I don't ever hear anything. I'm kidding. No, really, I'm kidding. I believe I read somewhere that there's actually a debate, and I guess the way I'm wording it is I'm saying that there is no debate, that the Champions League is a truer test of soccer.
Who has money?
Of better soccer than...
Soccer.
Yeah. Now, the Champions League is a truer test of better soccer than the World Cup. And if, I can understand why how someone can frame that argument, but I feel like it's complete horseshit.
It's just a constant, it's the same argument, and it's, I guess it's sort of it's borderline like an ideological viewpoint that the people contrary. Our opinion, we've said it before, or my opinion at least, I'm pretty sure yours is the same, is the demand of the EPL, especially in the other leagues, is a lot higher than La Liga, which is what the main for the last 5 to 10 years. And in the Champions League, in the semifinals, there's been usually 2 La Liga teams. It's usually Madrid or Barcelona. Both of them, or one of the 2.
Right. So what you're alluding to is that it's not even a fair. It's not even skewed fairly in a sense that domestic leagues are harder than other domestic leagues. So these certain clubs are getting tested even harder. So the Champions League is not even on equal footing, is what you're kind of getting at.
Exactly. I think the Premier League is. We've had this almost every other podcast, if not every, is the toughest league. I think that's why we both watch it. That's why we both talk about it every week. It's worth watching, and it could be any game. And now people have the benefit in the USA of actually being able to witness that because of the coverage. Otherwise, it was just Arsenal and Man U. That's why we happen to be that, because we're the hipsters and been watching soccer before it was cool in the US. As much as probably it pains Dan to call himself.
I'm not a soccer hipster.
He doesn't have a fixed gear, but I did see a Dortmund beanie in the back seat of his car. No, I'm just kidding.
No, not true.
It was a scarf. No.
It was an Osaka Kagawa jersey. That's how hipster I am. No.
Kaiser Chiefs. Yellow. With
No,
sunburst.
So the argument that I hear is that, like, in the Champions League, you're seeing some of the best talent in the world, and they're with their club team that they're with 8, 9, 10 months of the year, and you're seeing new styles, you're seeing developing tactics, you're seeing a variety of like, people are challenging the sport there. And at the World Cup, it's a spectacle, and you're not seeing anything groundbreaking. Now, I see your point, and I raise that. I hear that. But what you're really seeing at the World Cup is the Champions League, let's say, and club football is the experimenting room. And the World Cup is where you put true and tested strategies to work against other teams that are putting true and tested strategies to work. And you're really going to find out not whose gimmick is better, it's who's better. Like, and there's
those players are specifically for those formations.
You also shed, in theory, you shed the money aspect of it. You shed the mercenary aspect of you belong to a club because they pay you and you're going to play hard for them because you love your club, quote unquote. But technically, you should be loving your country more. We're all speaking in theory. Obviously, on a player by player level, we can always say that's not true. This is true. So now you shed the greed out of it. You've eliminated a manager experimenting a new formation or something or other, and you see the managers at the World Cup level have been witnessing all this and putting together the systems that they believe will work the best, and also hand-picking the player. They're hand-picking. They don't have to buy players. They don't have to go and compete. Like, Argentina doesn't have to compete with Brazil to who's going to sign Messi and who's going to sign Neymar. No, they get to pick from their pool. Anyone.
If you don't accept that invitation, you're pretty much...
Well, you're turning your back on that. I mean, there is a multitude of other political and monetary issues with FIFA and the World Cup. No doubt about it. And even football organizations are political, and they are corrupt, and there are issues with every single one of them. But on a theoretical level, there's no way that I will ever hear or ever accept, and I love the Premier League and I love European football, but I will not accept that Euro snob mentality that because it's played there and because there's all the money is there, it's better. it's basically almost disrespectful to North and South America and Africa and Asia that all play football and all have more people than Europe combined, or at least, But you know what I'm getting at? It's just I can't, when I hear that argument, I'm like, this is why the real true MLS lovers can't stand the guys that love European football, because they use that kind of crap. They use that mentality that it's just because of, they almost eliminate the passion aspect. I also hear, the Club World Cup, right? Mm-hmm. Which is held, the winner of each respective Champions League plays. It's usually in the Middle East, or the last time it was in Morocco. It's been in Japan. It's moved around a bit. But I've heard so many times from the European clubs, they don't care about the tournament. They won the Champions League. They're already champions of the world. This other thing is just a thing you do in the middle of the season to waste some time.
Extra money thing.
But then when you ask you ask people that watch Brazilian soccer, or it's usually a Mexican team that's representing North America, but the Brazilians, they hold on to that club World Cup thing like it is the World Cup. Like, I know I have friends that watch, that are Internacional fans, and they've won it a few times, and they're like, no, you don't understand. For us, we went over there and we beat the snot out of those European guys. I don't care what they think. I don't care that they said it was not a big deal. Like, we beat them. Yeah. and they hold it to big esteem, to high esteem. And I think that that same kind of mentality is transversing with the World Cup. And I don't like it. I know it's a spectacle, and I know it's entertainment, but it's to me it is the grandest football tournament in the world. I mean, you can't take that away. To me.
Yeah, not even. I think it's probably the best sporting tournament in the world, as far as not just football.
The Ashes definitely is better.
No, this is in general. I mean, start to finish, you have billions.
Anybody, it's the world.
Anybody, every time zone is represented. Every country has an eye on a TV. I don't care if you're in a village in jungle somewhere.
It's not every single person. Not everyone loves soccer, but there's enough people everywhere.
There's a collective consciousness.
Yes.
It's pretty. It's intense. I get tingles thinking about it. So we don't have it. We're leading into some in-depth coverage. Keep your eyes out. Just check out the website if you want to take a gander. A little tease as to what is coming up.
I like what you did there.
But we have this week. There was a lot of announcements of some teams and some groups.
Well, the groups we know, but you mean
not the groups, but the teams announced their tentative 30-mans or their
30-man rosters. I think were due
today.
Is it today?
14th.
Okay, so then they got to narrow it down. I think by the beginning of June sometime to 23, and a few
6th,
and a few reserves. Yeah,
June 6th. And if you're in any of the areas, there's a lot of warm-ups in the USA.
The United States, because of relative time zone. So the time zone is kind of relative to Brazil, and also because there's a lot. It's very lucrative for people to come play here,
and it's isolated.
And
relatively,
right? The players will be sheltered a bit, but also have modern facilities and all that.
There's a
lot of warm-ups. I mean, here we're based out of New Jersey. Red Bull Arena is going to host USA Turkey, Greece versus Bolivia,
and MetLife is going to have Portugal Ireland.
That's right.
And Ronaldo's going to be warming up right down the street from me. I think I might go check that out.
Well, they're training at
Jets.
Oh, the Jets facility.
Yeah,
cool.
That I think I might go bring my Man U jersey, try to get Sharpied. I don't know. Is that weird? I'm a little too old for that.
Yeah, I like photographs.
Maybe I'll steal.
I like the memory. Shake a hand. Thank you for your contribution for my club.
Yeah, maybe I'll steal a nephew or something.
Yes, you got to bring one of the little kids.
Yeah,
it's for him. Really,
it's for him.
Sign it to Dave. His name's Dave.
Shh. 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 Get over there. Hi.
Swoon. Are you gonna swing?
Do you still have your braces? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so we got a lot of friendlies coming up. Any particular roster names or left off names from some teams that you
Surprised that someone's on Falcao.
They believe Falcão. They believe that, at least that's how the Portuguese say it. Falcao. They believe he's going to make it. They believe that he's going to rub.
Running.
He's got horse placenta,
hyperbaric
chamber, all of it all at once.
Pig tendons.
He's going to like Dragon Ball Z it.
Surprised Nasri got left out, even though he's been a bit of a for the French nationally. For club, he's been very good this year.
I believe.
I think maybe that whole what was it, the Canella thing, might have had a lot to do with it. That it was almost like the Zing Heil that he did.
He did that as well?
It was rumored to be a part. He was with the rapper who started it and posed with him. I don't remember if he did the exact
I think he's a comedian.
Or comedian. Yeah. But definitely Anelka.
Well, Anelka did it for sure. We saw it. All of us saw it on on TV.
And I'm pretty sure that I'm not positive that it's never been announced, but that's definitely a big. Especially there's a lot of political, religious turmoil going on right now in France and in Europe in general. Southern.
Yeah, no.
Turkey and all that.
There's
a lot. I mean, if you think about just step back from the World Cup and all the things that are going on globally, I mean, this is a pretty intense. I think.
Let's just play it out on the field, boys.
But you see these documentaries that have been coming out the last year about Socrates and.
You mean
the troubles in Northern Ireland during the World Cup ¡94? There's a lot of bigger things happening, and it's just you don't realize it until afterwards. You step back,
right? How in Argentina still again another World Cup where they hope that the team winning will actually boost their economy, which it has done in the past,
or just the general disarray that Brazil is in, and in 2 years they might be losing the Olympics. Because of the infrastructure problems and the corruption problems that they're having talks about how holding it in London again because it's all set up. They've been also saying the same thing about Qatar now, but you never know.
Well, yes. Well, I mean, I guess what you're saying is the backdrop of that football is reflective of life, meaning, or rather, football has a very big impact on life.
Yeah.
And you're referring to Socrates and the ceasefires that Drogba was able to do, and Pele was also able to stop a war for a day. I mean, Drogba literally stopped the civil war, and him. I don't want to give him credit. It was the team. It was the Ivory Coast national team. Literally got on the microphone from their locker room to the national TV after after they qualified for the World Cup, the previous World Cup, or maybe two World Cups. I don't know. I'm sorry about my years. But he literally, pleaded for both sides to come to the peace table. Let's end this. And a few weeks later, they were at the peace table. So that's kind of incredible. With the power of sport, in society,
and especially when you have billions of eyes on it, like you said before, it's a big microphone.
Very big.
Talk with your feet. But yeah,
like De Jong does.
And like I alluded to on the dark horse picks on the thing, Medel for Chile. Somebody kind of commented on our Facebook post. I had asked, I had posted my dark horse pick was Belgium, based on their young, finesse, strong defense, very strong attacking.
You want to know why they're not going to be the dark horse pick?
Why?
Because they're going to have to face the winner or runner-up. Let's just assume Belgium wins their group. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to face the runner-up of the group of death. It's going to be Portugal or Portugal or the United States or Ghana, Germany. And I think the one thing that sometimes helps, but sometimes in these big spots hinders, is the inexperience at this level that Belgium has across the board.
So you think maybe next Euros will be the true measuring stick to see how they respond?
I think they're young enough that 2 years from now and 4 years from now, we talk a different game. I think we have a different discussion about
half of that team is already in the Premier League now.
I know they're all they're all under 26,
and they're all arguably the best besides Fellaini, arguably the best on their team
and company.
He's the best. He's one of the best.
He's the best for everybody else's team.
He's a great central defender. His stats when the stats that City have when Aguero, Toure, and company all start with that spine are off the charts. Well, I gotta find it for you. I'll post it.
I think he's very overrated, and I think that he gets the benefit of when he has Toure and Aguero and Silva and all those guys ahead of him. I think he gets the benefit of that. I think he's very overrated. I think he's had a few good seasons, and I think he's been living off that glory. I don't think this season it was a very good season for him.
He had a lot of discipline problems and injury problems. It was almost seemed that for one stretch every other game he had a double yellow or a straight red.
But Belgium is a good dark horse pick overall. I mean, I do think that if you look at it from although football is not won on paper, but if you look on it on paper, that's a scary team with an easy group.
And if France can mentally hold it together, that back line's pretty tight. Koscielny, Varane, Sanga. Evra's getting a bit old, but
Evra made the squad?
Yeah, I was very surprised.
No Clichy. Who's the backup left back? Do you know?
I want to say Sacco. Does Sacco sound right?
Sacco?
I want to say Sacco.
Is he a left back officially? I thought he was a center back. I guess he is a left back. I think you're right. He is a left back.
Debuchy, Mangala, Sacco, Varane, Evra, Digne. Digne? Is that how you say it? Digne? Plays for PSG. Midfield, Johan Cabaye, Matuidi, Pogba, Ribéry, Sissoko, Valbuena. Pretty tight. Forward, Benzema, Giroud, Payet, Remy.
Giroud!
Remy is pretty awesome too, man.
Yep.
He's got a killer instinct. So I don't know. I think France.
I mean, we're getting very ahead of ourselves. I think a little bit.
No, I'm just saying. A lot of them got announced. Nobody really mentioned France at all. I don't think they're getting enough credit going into it because of all the problems that they've had. I think since 1998.
Since winning it,
yeah,
it's been a train wreck.
I mean, this is if Zidane. I hate to bring it up again. They would have won that game. I think they would have won that game
without the red card.
Without that red card, that would have been done. And it's a shame.
They would have got at least one more penalty kick.
Definitely money. Anyway, I think people have been talking about that for long enough.
I remember on Facebook the comment came from our good friend Chris from Across the Pond Radio, and he said, "Watch out for Chile."
I agree with him.
That was his. Watch out for Chile, and I agree that I think first of all, I think Chile plays against South American giants on a regular basis. I think their players are underrated in the sense that a lot of them do play in Europe. They do play across South America as well, but you just forget. I think you got to forget about the Chilean, and I think they did very well in the qualifyings. They were very dangerous, and they although they are friendlies, and you take it with a grain of salt, they have played very well against the European teams in friendlies this season, this last 12 months or whatever.
But all Sanchez are going to be tight. And I think I commented Medel. He's a tough-nosed defender. He's going to give a lot of forwards a hard time. He did all season for Cardiff, that's for sure. He was one of the shine. Him and what's his name? English defender.
The former Tottenham man.
Yeah.
Kalkner,
that's what it was. I think he also. And one more thing I want to squeeze in. Actually,
squeeze it in.
One more.
Little lube. Get it in there.
Argentina.
Yes, what about them?
I think Garay and I think Di Michaelis got a second call. He's not up here, but I saw him in a couple other places. He got a call in Campagnaro. I don't think that their defense is going to be as big as a problem because I think that most of the teams that are playing them are going to be drawn so far back with those forwards that they have. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, that's in theory, yes, I agree. In theory, that if they possess and they attack well and they have possession up front, that
Aguero, Higuain, Lavezzi, Placio, Mersey. Those are their five forwards. And then they have Di Maria, who's they say is a midfielder, but he's I'd say more. I played actually more midfield this year.
He's a left winger.
He's on FIFA he's a left winger, but this year he played a lot in I'm more on the right side, actually.
They have Zabaleta as a midfielder. That I find...
Yeah, that's a bit odd. So, I don't know. That might be good for them. Anyway, we're getting too far into the World Cup because we should save our bullets for our Eyes on Rio coverage. But seriously, you should check out the website because we're starting to tease that.
Yeah, we're teasing. We putting some words out there, putting some images out there. But we hopefully we'll have some special stuff for you, some special content in the upcoming weeks leading up to the World Cup and through the World Cup. Hopefully,
we will be here.
And
don't forget to, if you have any World Cup memories, we mentioned it in the last one, throw it up on our Facebook page if you want, or tweet it out to us. We tweeted a few more out. We're going to keep doing it as we go. It's hashtag WC Memories.
Yeah, I want to see them. I want to hear from them.
Yeah, there's always some good ones. I remember being kilted and having my heart crushed from an own goal from Mr. Boyd against Brazil in the 98 World Cup. We were doing fantastic up until that point. 76th minute. I don't know if you recall. Brazil won.
That match, actually, I remember it happening. The game ending, or... I don't know if the game was ending. When did it happen? I was in high school. I just remember not being able to watch it for some reason. I don't know if I was in school when
makes sense.
Something like that. I don't know. I just remember not being happy with not being able to see it. Was it the opening match for Brazil and Scotland? Not opening match of the tournament, but their first group match. Yeah.
And then Scotland's next game was against Denmark. Craig Burnley scored a screamer, bloody screamer. I remember my grandfather shouting, banging his fist on the bar, "Bloody rocket!" But yeah, fully kilted. Never forget that one. That was a great World Cup. And then the next World Cup, we made it to the newspaper for our coverage. We were the only place open. 7 o'clock in the morning, we had all the satellite dishes, all the TVs. We had all the games on. We opened up at 7. We served beer, but don't tell anybody about that.
No, you know what? Now I remember. 98 came back to me. 98 was in France, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the game either had ended just as I was getting out of high school, and I ran home and I only saw the result. For some reason in my mind just now I blanked out. I'm like, what time zone was it? It was like you're watching European soccer. So
exactly.
It was an afternoon match at some point.
Night, yeah.
Or maybe maybe I missed the first half, saw the second. I don't know. I just remember being really pissed that I couldn't watch the whole thing.
I remember my late summer days, and most of the people in my high school didn't really care about soccer. But
98 was a kind of dark era.
In 06, I was a senior, and I had gotten I was crafty enough with my tongue to get my teachers in my later period classes to turn the TVs on.
What? Wait, hold on, wait. I want to hear more about what you did with your tongue to get your teachers to let you watch TV.
Oh no, I was talking about I was a good speaker. I convinced them to turn the TVs on mute.
Right.
Because it would turn me on mute. So yeah.
Awesome.
My previous high school career had my reputation got me.
You're a talker?
I was a talker. So I muted me.
Excellent.
Great. It was the last week. We weren't doing anything senior year. What do you do the last week of school senior year?
What do you do most of high school?
True.
All right, guys.
Go see Transformers 4?
No.
What do you do in high school?
I'm not getting $1 from Bay.
What do you do in high school? Oh, I was answering your question.
Oh. Go see Transformers 4.
All right, folks. Don't forget to, if you want to write, have anything you would like to contribute, we are always asking and accepting new pieces. Send it to socceryanks@gmail.com.
That's one of the many ways, yes.
And follow us. I'm at SoccerYankDave.
And I am at SoccerYankDan. These are both Twitter handles. Please visit the website, socceryanks.com, and that's where you can find us and all our articles and social media stuff, like a robot.
How to link it up. Thanks again. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.